Welcome to Sage Audio. Today we're looking at how to make lo-fi vocals. To get the most from your music, watch the entirety of each chapter for a complete understanding of the topic. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Driving preamp emulation. When we drive a preamp, we cause compression and distortion, often associated with improperly recorded vocals. Doing this with a plugin or the hardware is really simple. Just increase the input gain of a device until it distorts, and then decrease the output to compensate for changes in volume. Let's listen to a couple preamp emulations to hear how this sounds and how it varies slightly from emulation to emulation.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me fly. 'Cause you make me better, better. You make me feel better, better. I'm already falling, falling. You got me crazy, crazy. You make me.
Using a bandpass filter. With an EQ, we can create a bandpass filter which will attenuate the lows and highs, creating a vocal that exists primarily in the mids. We can also use a high pass and low pass filter to accomplish this, and then add some bell filters in the middle to emphasize certain frequencies. This type of processing can accomplish a telephone effect or maybe a radio effect, but it really just helps cut out parts of the vocal associated with high fidelity recordings. Let's take a listen.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me fly. 'Cause you make me better, better. You make me feel better, better. I'm already falling, falling. You got me crazy, crazy. You make me.
If you're enjoying the video, consider hitting the like button. It really helps us bring you more videos. GoodHertz LoFi plugin. GoodHertz offers a cool and affordable plugin called LoFi, with which you can create the filters that we just discussed, as well as add aliasing and distortion often associated with low-quality, lossy file types. If you've ever listened to One Dance by Drake, I'm pretty sure this effect was used on the backing track. That said, it works well at creating a cool lo-fi sound on vocals as well. Let's take a listen to it.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me fly. Oh, 'cause you make me better, better. You make me feel better, better. I'm already falling, falling. You got me crazy, crazy. You got me.
Emulating broken gear. Some saturation plugins emulate broken equipment. Saturn II is a good option for this, with which you can emulate broken tubes, old tape, and some amps that'll also work really well for lo-fi vocals. Broken tube and old tape is especially useful since you'll get unique breakup. Old tape will emulate the shedding of magnetic particles on tape, which also has a very distinct sound in which the signal drops out and distorts. Let's take a listen.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me fly. 'Cause you make me better, better. You make me feel better, better. I'm already falling, falling. You got me crazy, crazy. You make me.
Only a small percentage of people that watch our videos are subscribed, so if you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Bit and sample reduction. Similar to the LoFi plugin, we can reduce the bit depth and sampling rate with a basic distortion plugin. This cuts off the waveform as well as causes aliasing distortion. I find this plugin gives you a little more control than LoFi and has a little bit of a different tonality. Let's see what happens to our vocal when we reduce the sampling rate and bit depth.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me fly. Oh, 'cause you make me better, better. You make me feel better, better. I'm already falling, falling. You got me crazy, crazy. You make me.
Ugly space emulation. We can use reverb to emulate ugly spaces that aren't designed for recording. For example, I can use a free plugin that uses impulse responses to mimic an abandoned USSR observation tower. Or I can use an algorithmic reverb to emulate specific rooms, like a bathroom or bedroom. You may not need this if you're recording in a space that isn't designed for recording, but it's helpful if you have a dry vocal. Let's take a listen.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me
If you'd like our custom plugin presets, audio samples, loops, download sheets, a members-only badge next to your name and comments, and more, consider joining with the link in the description. LoFi tape settings. Although we briefly covered tape, let's talk a little bit more about why it has so much potential for a lo-fi sound. With Asperity, we can add dynamic noise to the side image, expanding the signal and making it sound lo-fi simultaneously. We can also introduce wow and flutter to emulate tape speed imperfections. Finally, if we reduce the tape speed to as low as it goes, it's a great way to add distortion, reduce clarity, and create a general sense of low fidelity. Let's take a listen.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me fly. Oh, 'cause you make me better, better. You make me feel better, better. I'm already falling. You got me crazy, crazy. You make me.
Wire and speaker emulation. Audio Thing makes a couple of plugins that are great for this purpose, mainly wires and speakers, which emulate a wire reel-to-reel recorder and various speakers and microphones, respectively. Using these plugins is simple. Just try different speaker and input speed settings until you get the right sound that you want. As an extra, check out Abbey Road's Vinyl by Waves, with which you can add vinyl crackle and noise, high-frequency distortion and attenuation by moving the tone arm to the center of the record, and emulate various cartridges and tone arms. Let's take a listen to the first two plugins that we talked about.
And now I'm ready to start, 'cause you make me fly. Oh, 'cause you make me better, better. You make me feel better, better. I'm already falling. You make me crazy, crazy. You make me.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.